This video, I'm going to be sharing with you the parallel reality timeline loop that you are stuck in and don't even know it, and I'm going to show you how to push through it so you start to experience more of what you want. By the end of this video, you will know how to do that in a very powerful way. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of what is called the parallel reality timeline loop that 99% of people on the world are stuck in. And understand that the reason it says timeline is because yes, there are an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. We are shifting through them every moment, whether we're aware of it or not. The thing is most people shift to a very similar experience to their past because they're stuck in their past. So think about it in terms of vibrational resonance. Now, when it comes to this, if we're thinking the same thoughts every day, feeling the same emotions every day, doing the same things every day, then we will continue to experience the same thing over and over again. Now, it appears to be the same thing, but it's actually not. It are totally separate frames, but we create the experience as if it is the same. So think about it like this. We're shifting all the time. If we experience being stuck, we just keep shifting to experiences of being stuck because of our definition of being stuck. We may have a definition that I always attract this type of experience in my life. And by saying that, we shift to the same type of experience over and over again. It's a new experience, but it appears to be the same because it's what's familiar. It's the consistent thoughts we have, consistent emotions we feel, consistent things we do. So we create it new every time, but it appears to be the same. Now this is very important because when we understand that, we can start to ask ourselves a new question. What do I want to experience instead of the reality I don't prefer? What do I want to choose? Is there something new I want to choose? You see, these are the questions we can ask. We get real deep here. We can start to ask new questions. Therefore, we start to get new answers. But you see, most people aren't asking questions. They're just in this seriousness. You know, this is a 3D avatar, first off. Yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, you can do stuff with it. But when we identify with just our body, when we identify with our thoughts, when we identify with the identity of the 3D avatar, it creates a rigidity, a seriousness, and then we go out and we experience reality that's equal to whatever that avatar is. And just some people aren't aware, yo, I could change up how I do this. And instead of doing this, I could do this. I could do it the other way. Instead of doing like this, you just, I mean, but some people are so rigid. They're like, they're kind of walking around, you know. Everything is so serious, and because it's so serious, I'm going to continue to create this feeling of being stuck because everything is stuck and things just aren't happening. But if we say that, we're creating new experiences of that over and over and over again based on our definitions, based on our beliefs. Think of it like words and definitions keep us locked into a certain parallel reality timeline loop. Now the loop is the experiential part of it appears to be the same. It just appears to be the same because we're within a certain bubble, this avatar bubble of the thoughts we think, the feelings we have, the things we do, and therefore we experience the same things over and over again. At any point, we can choose something new. But people aren't aware that they have the choice. They think that they have to be the same way that they've always defined themselves. Tony Robbins says this all the time. He says, the strongest human desire there is to remain consistent to the way you define yourself. That's what he says. That's pretty strong human desire. And if we define ourselves in a certain way earlier on in our past, maybe we define ourselves as a victim because of things that happened to us. That's how I felt for years because of my painful childhood. So I identified with that, and then I was unconsciously acting in that way, going out into the world, experiencing a loop of people treating me a certain way because I wasn't aware I could choose something different. I thought this is just the way reality is. This is how I relate to everyone else. Now, here is the thing with parallel reality timeline loops that everyone is in, whether they're aware of it or not. The resistance of banging around is what keeps you locked into it. This is why in order to really create change in our life, we have to become aware and we have to lessen the charge of the things that have power over us. Lessen the charge. How do we lessen the charge? Well, if we're going around, this is an example from the book Reality Transurfing. If we're going around, say we hate apples, and we grab apples, we take a bite of an apple, and we talk about how much we hate apples. And it gets to a point to where we even go to an apple museum, we look at all these pictures of apples, and we complain about being in the apple museum. And then we're stuffing our face with apples just complaining about it. Well, the resistance we have about it, because we're giving it attention, it keeps us locked into that kind of experience. The key is not to fight, because when you fight and you have resistance, you stay tuned to it. If you have this strong thing against apples, this prejudice against apples, and you go out into the world, you see someone at a park eating an apple, it's going to trigger you. You're eating one of those apples, horrible green, red apples. So then we go around and it's almost like those charges cause us to feel more sparked versus observing. Observation is where the power is. If we feel resistance because we're not where we want to be, we have to work a 9-to-5 job we don't like, that resistance will cause us to stay within that reality timeline because the resistance is part of it. It resonates with us. We must first show the universe that our internal state of being is not dependent on the outer reflection. Otherwise, we hold that outer reflection in place. Because think about it, you get in life a reflection of who you are, and your vibration holds things into place. If you have resistance, your resistance is holding that job into place. So what I did when I had a job I didn't like, when I knew I wanted to be full-time on YouTube, is instead I became at peace with being at a job I didn't care about. And I focused on letting it almost be a spiritual practice that I was there. I went in every day like, I'm going to be present. Yes, I could be making a video right now. I'm going to be present. And by doing that, it would increase my state of being because then I wasn't resisting the present moment. Then I was in a higher state of being. I'd go home and I'd be in a higher state and I would make better videos. So you see, resistance holds things. If you are resisting not being in a relationship right now, because you're mad that it's not happened, and you go around, you see other people at a park. Everyone's at a park these days, right? Not really, but that's just I like parks. You go to a park and everyone's holding hands, lovey-dovey, and you're like, why they get to feel like that? I don't feel like that. I don't have someone next to me holding my hand and looking in my eyes like that. Because of the resistance that you feel in that moment, that blocks the experience from happening. There could be someone walking around you at that park right then that'd be perfect for you, but you can't actually see them because you're too much in the resistant mode. And if you did see them and you did say something to them, you'd be carrying around this heavy pain body that would then say, hey, how are you? And we say, hey, how are you? They feel this resistance. They're like, oh, I'm good, bye. You see? So we get in life that which we are the vibration of, and the resistance locks us into certain definitions and to certain experiences. The key is becoming okay with where you are. Because then you have more flexibility to move to the parallel reality you want. So the other thing I would say about this avatar body that can do cool stuff like this avatar body that you have, be more light about it. Have more fun with it. The more fun you have, the higher your vibration goes, the more flexible your reality is. Because you're constantly shifting. But then you shift onto a higher timeline if you increase your state of being. Your state of being is also correlated with which parallel realities you experience. How do you feel? Are you taking life so serious? Or you have a little more fun? Because if you have more fun with this life, then you'll experience more of what you want. So the parallel reality timeline loop is something everyone is in. It's just, are you doing things to get yourself outside of the habitualness? Are you doing something to get outside of the definitions? Are you doing something to get outside of the seriousness of the avatar itself? Because the truth is, you are an immortal spiritual being living a temporary human experience. And when you start to loosen up, this is my way for loosening up. When you start to loosen up, things begin to change for you. So realize that whether you're aware of it or not, you are shifting. But if you have a definition that says, I am stuck, then you're getting a reflection in your life of, yes, you are stuck. Imagine it like this. I heard this from Neil Donald Walsh once. He's like, whatever you say, God says yes. So you'd be like, I am stuck. And God's like, yes, you are stuck. Or you're like, I want abundance. God's like, yes, you want abundance, which means you don't have it. And you could be saying, I want a relationship. God goes, yes, you do want a relationship. You get that which you are affirming in the present moment and based on your definition. So instead, focus on being happy with where you are. You might say, well, instead say that you do have a relationship. Yes, you could do that. That's acting as if. Very, very powerful. However, I'll say be okay with not being in one right now. Be okay with not having a lot of abundance. And realize that the abundance comes within you. Be okay with you even feeling you're stuck. If you even just become okay with the idea that you keep creating the illusion of being stuck over and over again through that parallel reality timeline loop, then be aware of it and be okay with it, and then you loosen the tie into that parallel reality. You start to have more fun. So really the point of this video is just to have more fun. Loosen up. Be aware of the definitions you have. Be aware of the things that you're saying in your life that are reaffirming themselves over and over and over again. And if you want to shift on something new, decide. Set the intention. Intend to go beyond the current low reality avatar bubble we have. Go beyond. And start to be in a new way. Start to have more fun. Set the intention. Be like, okay, I'm going to go beyond this. You know, I go to the park and I see everyone eating apples and it makes me very angry. I'm going to go beyond that. So first off, you have to neutralize it. It's okay that everyone's eating apples. It's just a delicious fruit. That's all. And then what you say is, okay, I'm going to go beyond that. I'm going to focus on what I'm passionate about. I'm going to focus on something else. I'm going to focus on seeing how apples could be good. At least people eating apples are eating something healthy. They're not eating like Sour Patch Kids. No matter how delicious those things are, they're not good for you. So be grateful. People are better than themselves. New perspective. You start to feel better about it. And then stretch beyond that. Like, I'm going to go beyond the shallowness of just focus on people's apples. I'm going to have that's such a small problem to have, be angry at people eating apples. I'm going to start doing something that's more expansive. I'm going to focus on my passion, focus on adding value to people. And then you start to experience more of the reality you want. So the main purpose of this video is to break out of the timeline loop by realizing that your definitions keep you stuck. Let go of the definition of being stuck and let go of the resistance. Become okay with where you are. Become okay with the present moment, and then you have more flexibility to then choose something new. Choice is where that power is. So, if you want that of a meditation that will help you to raise your vibration, you will see that in the top of the description box below. As you raise your vibrational set point, you start to experience more of the parallel realities you want. It's absolutely free. I recommend using it for 21 days. I think it'll change your life. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram, so if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, you can do that right here. I post daily content there. Plus, I do live Q&As. If you have questions for me, you can ask me questions. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.